The principle is, if you're going to hire an appraiser, have an appraiser do their job for you. I know it's unconventional. I know it's outside the box, folks, but that's what will make you successful.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Justin Harris.
There's an old saying out there that says, if you're going to hire a chef, have them make an omelet. I want to pause here. We are sponsored, of course, by a la mode software. A la mode is the software that is helping appraisers every day to do more, to be more efficient, to get things accomplished with great technology. You can find them at alamode.com or 800-ALA-MODE. Datamaster also helping to save you time. In fact, about 45 minutes per report, every report you do, folks. Datamasterusa.com. Again, it's datamasterusa.com, and Working RE is where I go to find out more about what's going on in the world of appraisal, especially mortgage appraisal. They're very up on what's going on with the GSEs and the changes across states and nations. Check them out by going to workingre.com. Again, it's workingre.com. Folks, if you have not figured this out yet, I'll let you know a little secret. I'm not a conventional guy. I have always had not always, but most of my life had the idea that if the crowd is running north, I'm going to run south. And that's just kind of how I do things. It's how I do things in life, how I do things in my relationships. It's how I do things in business, and it has served me well. Not always. I will tell you that it comes with a cost. In fact, I'm in the process right now of writing my July playbook for the All-Star team, and I'm writing a whole coach's playbook section. We call it the chalkboard. On when you choose to do things unconventionally, you also choose to get unconventional results. And that can be a good thing, and it comes with a little bad as well. In other words, you can choose to do things unconventionally, and one of the positives of that might be that you make a lot more money than your peers. But one of the negatives that might come with that is you might get the criticism of your peers because, hey, you're doing it wrong. You can't do it that way. That's not the way we're supposed to do it. And I've experienced that throughout my life. But when it comes to hiring people, it is no different for me. I don't typically do the normal thing. For example, when I reach out for someone, I am very circumspect about where I advertise, and that plays into who I get as candidates. I'm very specific about where I advertise. We are in a high-tech world. I don't want to advertise through the newspaper. You get a certain demographic through the newspaper. Now, not always. Those can cross over. I get it. There's always exceptions. But for the most part, I'm going to spend my time, money, and energy looking for someone on the internet because I want somebody who knows how to use the internet. But it's not just about where I advertise. It's also about how I go about hiring. And I go through this process that is, well, it's unconventional. If you want to know more, I lay it out in my Go Create Some Value workshop, which you can find on my website, theappraisercoach.com. But needless to say, I don't do things like my peers do them. And as a consequence, I get some fantastic results, and I've experienced some great success in my appraisal business. And I'm able to also teach these principles to others through my coaching systems and processes and memberships. But I also get some negative as well, and I get some challenges from other people. And that's okay. I choose that. I choose to be an outside-the-box thinker. But one of the things that I do differently than some is the way that I go about hiring. And I don't just go through your typical advertise, collect resumes, wade through them, do interviews, hire somebody, and put them to work. Now, certainly I do all of that, but there's so much more that goes into it when I work through the process of hiring somebody, which is different than the process of others that hire. One of the things that I do is I have them make an omelet. And one of the things I highly recommend, now not really, figuratively. In other words, if I'm hiring somebody to do a certain job, I want them to do that job for me so that I know who I'm hiring. Folks, trust me when I say there are people who are really good at writing resumes. And there are people who are really good at the interview process. And I have made really big mistakes going through the process of hiring people that are looking good on paper and even better in the interview. And they absolutely fail when it comes to production. I've done this more than once. You look at the resume, everything looks great. Bring them in for an interview. You sit them down for an interview, and they have excellent people skills, and you think, how can I go wrong with this person? He or she has the right answers to everything. And then you put them in the chair, and you get them to work, and you realize very quickly that you made a big mistake. In fact, it wasn't just a mistake as far as your time and energy goes, but it was a huge financial mistake as well. Think of how much it costs, not just to advertise, but the time spent, and remember, time is money when you're self-employed, but the time spent wading through all of those resumes, interviewing all of those people, getting all of the paperwork put together, the payroll set up, introducing them to the team, getting them set up on their server, in their software, and their usernames and their passwords, getting them up and going through the training process, only to find out that they can't do the job, that they made you think they could do the job. By the way, I don't think most people are deceptive. They're not purposely. They're trying to get a job. They're going to put their best foot forward. They're going to put their best face on. And they're not lying when they say that they can do such and so, but it may not necessarily be what you need. Folks, how do you avoid this? How do you avoid this? Well, let me just tell you up front, you can't do it completely. I'm going to give you some principles and some things, some practices really, that if you put into practice will probably assist you and help you, but you can't be 100%. I wish there was a bulletproof way to go through the process and hire people and know that they're the right person and know that you've done it right and they're the one. No matter what practices you put into place, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall, you're going to have challenges, and that's okay. But what do you do to reduce those? One of the things that you do is if you're going to hire a chef, have them make an omelet before you hire them. I'm going to give you some ideas of how to apply this principle in the appraisal office, but I want to pause here and remind you of some other principles in the appraisal office, and one of them is efficiency. Folks, I don't know about you. I just mentioned that time is money, right? How much time do you spend? How many man hours do you spend on every appraisal that you do? My guess is, because this is average nationwide, at least 5. Folks, what if you could delegate to technology, nonetheless, 45 minutes of that it's not going to hurt your quality? Yes, it'll be a little unconventional because most people are not doing it, but it's actually going to help the quality of your report. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you that Data Master will do that for you. Data Master will save you 45 minutes per report because it fills in the blanks for you. It's not thinking for you. It's doing the busy work for you. Check them out. Go to datamasterusa.com. Again, it's datamasterusa.com. Folks, about every week on a pretty regular basis, I log into workingre.com. Why? Because it tells me what I need to know about my chosen profession, the appraisal world. By the way, there's all kinds of benefits when you go to Working RE. Check them out right now by pausing this podcast. Yes, pause the podcast, go to your computer, type in Working R. If you're on the phone, by the way, if you're driving, pull over. But if you're on your phone, you can keep the podcast running in the background. Go to your browser, workingre.com. Check out what they have to offer. Finally, we are sponsored by Alamode. Alamode being the software that has saved me so much time, energy, effort over the years, I can't even begin to quantify it. Folks, if you are with any other software product out there, please check out Alamode. You can find them at alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. All right, folks, welcome back. Today we're talking about omelets. We're talking about eggs and peppers and a little onion and some ham, some cheese. We're talking about building a business with people that know what they're doing. And there's an old adage out there that says if you're going to hire a chef, have him make an omelet. Now, obviously, we're not dealing with food here. We're dealing in principle. But the principle is if you're going to hire an appraiser, have an appraiser do their job for you. I know it's unconventional. I know it's outside the box, folks, but that's what will make you successful. That's what will cause you to not make the mistakes that everybody else is making out there. Let me give you a couple of examples. These are real life examples of how I go through my training process, how I go through my hiring process before I even bring them on to train them. For example, one of the things that I do is what's called the mini interview. And the mini interview is basically a computer test, and it's for me to be able to get a gut reaction as to whether or not I think I can work with this person. It is no deeper than that. We don't ask hard questions. When I find somebody through the resume process that I feel like might be a good candidate, rather than wasting an entire hour of my life when in the first 7 seconds I've already determined that I'm not going to hire this person, Okay? I simply call them in the very beginning for what's called a mini interview. And by the way, this mini interview often will take place over the phone, especially if it's a customer service agent that I am trying to hire. I will, on the phone, role play with them. Yes, I call them Bob calls, by the way, because I call and pretend to be Bob. And I will call them up and I will talk to them for a few minutes and I will get an idea of how they are on the phone. And I might set up a Bob call. And a Bob call is basically this. Here's some things you need to know. Okay, here's some facts you need to know. Because I'm going to call up and I'm going to be Bob. And I'm going to have you deal with Bob. And by the way, and I warn them up front, Bob is going to get a little bit testy because Bob doesn't have much patience. And we will go through the process and I will pretend to be Bob and they have the facts in front of them, but the facts don't matter when Bob gets angry. And I want to see how you deal with angry customers because guess what? In the appraisal world, you're going to get them. It's going to happen. And I want to make sure that my employees can follow a script and that they can remain composed and that they can provide customer service with a smile. And so part of my omelet making process for a customer service agent is to have them take a call. I might have them write an email. Would you please, here's the criteria, here's the bullet points, right? I need you to write me an email, and these are the 3 things I need you to ask me. Now, if they simply copy and paste the 3 items into an email, they've failed miserably. I want them to fluff that email up in a professional and friendly manner. In other words, I want to make sure that this individual can represent me as the appraiser, can represent my company as an appraisal company. And by the way, the best appraisal company in the area. I want to continue to keep that role. And a customer service agent is the face of the company. So before I even hire them, I'm going to send them through a series of quote unquote tests, skill checks to make sure that they have what it takes to work for me. If you are a data entry individual, and you're an individual that I am going to have do computer work, I might bring you in for a mini interview and it might actually give you a mini computer test where I have you create a folder in Windows, where I have you create a file in Word, where I have you edit that file, where I have you alphabetize something, where I have you create an email and give it and put that file in an attachment and send it to me. These are very basic things. Well, that's so basic. Right. But folks, if you can't do that, how are you going to do data entry? And I don't want to get through the process of somebody who is excellent on their resume, excellent when it comes to their interview, but I've never actually put in front of a frying pan with an egg. If you're going to hire a chef, have them make you an omelet. Folks, this is no different than when you're dealing with appraisers, right? If you're going to hire another appraiser or a trainee, what process would you go through? Now, if you're going to hire an appraiser, a full-fledged licensed or certified appraiser, certainly they're going to know more than a trainee would know. For example, if someone came in and wants to be hired and wants to be trained and you say, okay, we'll measure this house. Folks, that's expecting something of them that they've probably never been trained on, right? But there are certain things that you can do in the training process to make sure that they at least have the skills to be able to point a laser, at least have the skills to be able to run a smartphone and to take a picture properly, right? Those are things that you don't need training on. Those are things that you should come pre-trained. I'm not going to teach you how to use a smartphone, for example. But when it comes to an actual appraiser, why not have them inspect a house? Why not have them pull comps in a sample hypothetical report? Why not have them make adjustments? And what would you do to support the $2,000 adjustment that you made for the fireplace and find out what they say? And if they're one of those that say, well, that's the way my mentor did it, that's the way we've always done it, there might be a problem. It's nice to know that those problems are there before you make that decision than after. One more thing I'm going to share with you before I let you go, because I think this is critically important as well. My process is to never hire someone until they've had a trial. So when I go through the whole process, let's say that we've filtered out the resumes, we've gone through the mini interview, we've gone through the longer interview, we've had them make an omelet, we are ready to give them an offer. I typically will go like this. Now, I'm ready to make you an offer. I would love to have you come be a part of our team. However, I never hire someone outright without giving them a trial basis. So if you're willing, I would like to bring you on for 90 days. And I want to see how things work out. At the end of 90 days, my plan is to hire you full time. Now, I'm going to pay you through the 90 days. I'm going to hire you at X amount per hour. And after the 90 days, I'm going to give you a raise to Y amount per hour. But I would love to have you be a part of our team and show us what you've got. Folks, that's another way to help them to make the omelet. You're not actually hiring them. Now you are. You're going to go through the same process, but you're letting them know that they're on trial. For the next 90 days, they're going to make a lot of omelets, and you're going to taste every one of them. And if it's not working out after 30, 60, 90 days, you're going to have to move on. Folks, don't necessarily look at the way everyone else hires and copy what they're doing. If they're running north, find out what it takes to run south. I mentioned earlier in the program a great course out there called the Go Create Some Value Workshop. It is available on my website right now. And by the way, if you are a member of my All-Star team, which you can join for free by using free30 All-Star as the coupon code, you can get 25% off all of my courses. That's right, folks. The Go Create Some Value Workshop, the Go Remodel Your Appraisal Business Workshop. There's some great workshops out there. They are for you, for the taking, and 25% discount with your free membership to the All-Star team.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.